Welcome back. This is a special edition of the Robert Scott Bell Show. Breaking news on Angelina Jolie and her attempt to promote what we consider here to be a very barbaric practice of removing body parts that aren't even diseased, just on the slight thought that somebody said, well, you have a gene, you might get sick later on. Joining me right now, the health ranger Mike Adams, to discuss this issue like nowhere else in media.
Hi there, Robert. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, this is big breaking news right now. Angelina Jolie is almost evangelizing this idea that women can be empowered by having their breasts surgically cut away, removed, to prevent a cancer that they don't even have. And I'm really, really concerned about this message. I'm concerned that this is exploiting women. I'm concerned that other options aren't being talked about, such as nutrition and vitamin D and anti-cancer therapies that are very easy, very safe, very inexpensive, and very effective. And Angelina Jolie is looked up to by a lot of women because she's such a sex figure in Hollywood and you know, is a strong, confident woman. But she's using that in exactly the wrong way right now. This is a bad medical practice. It encourages women to mutilate themselves in order to feel like they're going along with the celebrity popular movements, and it's sickening, actually, Robert. That's the right word.
Yeah, and Mike, you know, we're hearing a lot of feedback from, because the way the other side of the media is that we call the corporate, pharmaceutically conflicted media, they're really praising her. How amazing, how courageous this is that Angelina would come out and say this and do this. And you know, it's preying on a gullible public that is not well versed in nutrition, much less the corruption of the oncological field, that, in other words, the cancer industry and cancer doctors that believe genes cause cancer, when epigenetics is something that we know, but they won't touch out there.
It's all a big lie. Angelina Jolie was lied to, and she is now lying to other women. It's that simple. The BRCA1 gene is an indicator of breast cancer risk, but what they don't tell you is that the gene can be suppressed. It's only activated in an environment that is a pro-cancer lifestyle, a lifestyle has food, eating a lot of foods, for example, that promote cancer, not having high enough vitamin D, having nutritional deficiencies, and so on. If you have the right lifestyle and the right foods and the right choices, you know, I'd like to talk about a woman's choice here. You have a choice not to have cancer, even if you have the BRCA1 gene. But Jolie is feeding women right into the corporate meat grinder, because even the test for the BRCA1 gene, that test is owned by a corporation that claims a patent on the test to detect the gene. So the test alone runs over $1,000. So just by going out and scaring all these women into thinking, well, gee, I might have this gene, and this gene is a death sentence, which it isn't. You know, they've got women lining up to say, you know, practically screaming, my breasts might murder me, and running to get tested so that it enriches these corporations.
Well, and another
it's a total sellout of women.
It is, Mike. And another thing you won't hear about in the old media, even from the medical professionals that are in it, even, for goodness sake, Dr. Oz, the conflicted doctor himself, came out in praise of Jolie, from what I've been hearing. And,
incredible.
You know, where is the sense of, wait a second, we were given breasts. And by the way, men have breasts too. And I'm not talking about man boobs. That's a whole other issue.
No, men have breast tissue. Men can get breast cancer.
Yeah, so it's like suddenly you got to remove that. You might have skin cancer. Remove your skin. I mean, it gets more absurd with every level that we go here, Mike. And yet they're not talking about any level of prevention, nor the conflicts of the test itself that they're promoting that you just mentioned.
It should be a basic tenet of medicine that you don't remove organs that are not diseased. If it's functioning, if it's healthy, and it's asymptomatic.
That should be first-year med school.
Symptoms, leave it intact. I mean, this gets down to the fear, Robert. Mm-hmm. The fear marketing, the fear mongering of the cancer industry has been so effective at terrifying women. It's practically medical terrorism. Women are so scared that they're then easily manipulated and funneled like cattle into these meat grinder systems where they're cutting their breasts off, they're treating them with chemotherapy, which causes more cancer, and it causes heart damage and kidney damage and brain damage. These women are coming out of these systems, especially black women, by the way. African Americans are targeted for chemotherapy and breast cancer because they know they tend to be more vitamin D deficient and can't prevent cancer. These cancer centers are making billions of dollars a year off of women that they terrify and keep ignorant of nutrition and the prevention strategies that can really work. And then they call it They call it female power to be
Yeah.
mutilated. It's insane.
Yeah, pro-choice. You choose to cut off your body parts, or cut. That's not a choice, especially when you've been manipulated and feared or frightened in this way. And of course, this is something called genetic determinism, or I even call it genetic reductionism. This idea that your genes actually dictate to you your future, where we know there's a field of science called epigenetics that really emerged greatly as they realized there weren't enough genes to do what life does. They said, wait a second, something's wrong here. And now that field is completely ignored in this whole Angelina Jolie discussion out there in the mainstream media.
Well, of course, even disregarding epigenetics and the work of people like Bruce Lipton, who's written several excellent books on that topic, just raw genetics itself, there is something called gene expression. And these genes aren't expressed unless there's the correct biochemical environment to have them expressed. So the BRCA1 gene is not a death sentence at all. Millions of women carry this gene around and never have breast cancer. How is that? The gene is not a death sentence. It's all about the lifestyle that you lead. Everybody has microtumors of cancer, including you and me, Robert, and everybody listening. The issue is, how do we prevent those microtumors from becoming large tumors? The answer is vitamin D and superfoods and anti-cancer choices that we make in our foods and our exercise, and sensible sunlight exposure, because sunlight is good for you in moderation. All of these choices, foods like red wine and citrus and celery juice, and even cruciferous vegetables. If you juice kale and you juice these things, you're intaking a nutrient called indole-3-carbinol, I3C, which is proven scientifically in the medical literature to prevent breast cancer. You didn't hear Angelina Jolie telling women you should drink some vegetable smoothies or juices. No, she's like, cut off your breasts, and that's it. That's the only option you have. What a wicked thing for an evil person to say to other women. It's despicable.
It is, and of course, it's the opposite message that you'll hear anywhere else. You're listening to a special edition of the Robert Scott Bell Show, interview with the health ranger, Mike Adams from Natural News. And of course, the Robert Scott Bell Show can be heard 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, through Natural News Radio. Archives are linked up as well. Show notes at robertscottbell.com. And Mike appears from time to time, and we cover the news like nowhere else in the broadcast media. Now, another thing that is missed in all of this discussion, as they're praising this woman for promoting the mutilation of women's bodies here, is the need for breast tissue and the corresponding lymphatic tissue that is damaged when they remove the breast tissue. And the fact of the matter is, even if Angelina Jolie were to have cancer sometime in the future in the breast, removing the breast doesn't remove the cancer. It removes a place where it would manifest in a safer way. I know that's a weird thing to say, but Mike, I know you know what I'm saying here, as opposed to having it in her liver, her pancreas, her kidneys, etc.
No, cancer is a systemic issue. It's always systemic. It may manifest in the tissue of the breast, like you said, first, but it's also appearing other places at the same time if you're leading a pro-cancer lifestyle. So the answer is, and by the way, the lymph tissue that you mentioned is crucial.
Yes.
The lymph system is how you prevent disease. And so by taking out your breast tissue, you're also removing lymph nodes. So you are impairing your ability to prevent future disease. Now, for the record, I'm all in favor of a woman's choice to do what she wants with her body, but I think that should be an informed choice.
Yes.
And getting your medical information and advice from an actor, a celebrity who has no training in nutrition, never been a researcher, a journalist, nothing, to get your information from a woman like that is complete stupidity. I'm sorry, but it's insane. She doesn't know anything about these things, and she proves it by having her breast removed when there's no cancer there.
Yeah, and even one step further is the questioning of informed consent when a doctor talks to you, because the doctors have conflicts of interest. We know by the virtue of their very license and the control of the state boards of medicine how that plays into the pharmaceutical agenda. We mentioned the BRCA1 patented gene and the test associated with it. That you've got to start questioning your doctors. Why would these oncologists, cancer doctors, consult with someone like me or homeopaths or holistic docs when their family members come down with cancer? They often will not do the same thing they would do to Angelina Jolie to their own family members.
And there are huge conflicts of interest here. The very clinic that diagnosed Jolie with this or discussed with her these, quote, options is making money off this procedure. Women who go in to see an oncologist, they're never told by that oncologist that if you agree to chemotherapy or radiotherapy, we make money off the drugs that we're selling you for the treatment that we tell you you need because we diagnosed you with the disease that you may not even have. I mean, they're never told this. The conflicts of interest are criminal. This industry is deeply criminal, and it does not empower women with information. It exploits women for profit.
Yes.
And that's what I'm against. I want women to be informed so they have an informed choice.
Yeah, and what you just said, Mike, reminds me of the things that are said against the natural products industry. We don't want you to speak about cancer because you're just trying to sell a product.
Oh, right.
What the heck is the oncological field doing? And a big product in the cancer industry is research. Research that has yet to find a cure for cancer since Nixon declared war on it 40 years ago.
No, they don't want to find a cure for cancer, Robert. The whole search for the cure, the run for the cure, buy these products for the cure, it's all a scam, Robert. They don't want a cure because treating women is too profitable. And it's so easy to have them manipulated by the fear that's put out by the cancer industry. They've got women running around looking in the mirror thinking my breasts are going to kill me. It's so insane. It's so delusional, and it's so far from reality. Your breasts are not going to murder you in your sleep. Your breasts, they need to be left intact. They've got lymph nodes. They are part of your immune system. You need to stay intact. And I tell you, a woman that I admire is one that takes care of her body, treats it as a temple, does exercise, nutrition, moderate sunlight. That's heroic. That's the role model that we need. Why can't we have an actress or a supermodel that just says to women, make healthy choices? Be a strong, affirmative, confident woman because you're healthy and you're not cutting yourself up with plastic surgery and double mastectomies. Why can't we have that kind of role model?
Well, those actors and actresses tend not to get as many jobs. They become blacklisted because the message they're delivering is not politically correct, as far as we know, economically correct, with those that fund the studios and the news media and the press releases coming out parading as news, which we speculate the Angelina Jolie piece that she wrote as an op-ed was probably not written by her.
It reads like a press release.
It does.
Carefully crafted words of some kind of corporate entity is what it reads like to me. I can't prove that, but that's what it reads like. But anyway, overall, Robert, this is disgusting. This is not medicine, and this is not cancer prevention. This is one woman who was tricked by an industry that wants women to be ignorant about their true options for preventing disease. It's nothing more than that. This is a cruel trick and an exploitation of women.
Yeah, and by the way, the word on the street is that she's going after her ovaries next.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows what she's going to cut off next?
Yeah. Now we say, who put those critters in there? You know, it's like, take it up with the creator. Come on. You were given an ovary or two and a uterus for a reason. In fact, women live longer primarily because they have a uterus and they get to have another escape route every month that men do not for some things that need to get out of the body.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you, modern medicine does not understand women's health. They do not understand reproductive health, not by any means. And they obviously do not understand cancer. So, God forbid if men start doing this and doctors convince them they carry a gene for testicular cancer, what are they going to do? Run around cutting their balls off, Robert? Is that what guys are going to do?
See?
Cut their balls off and then claim to be heroes for it? Really?
That's right. We're sticking up for women, I guess, and men here. But men, stop.
I mean, don't cut them off. Leave it. Leave it alone.
Well, that's why you tune into the Robert Scott Bell Show 5 days a week as well through Natural News Radio. Mike Adams, the Health Ranger at naturalnews.com. That's where you need to be getting your news because you'll get information like this that you won't get anywhere else. And, of course, the message here is hold on to your body parts and also that the power to heal is yours, Mike.
Yeah, keep the men with knives away from your organs, please, people. Wake up, all right?
Yes, and tell your friends, too, because this is a message of empowerment. It's pushing the First Amendment for all it's worth to bring you that information that will bring that power to heal back to you. And I appreciate you being here with me, Mike. And if you want to hear more interviews with Mike Adams, you can check it out, Natural News Radio Archives. Of course, the show notes are linked every day in the archives at robertscottbell.com. And we're just grateful to be able to bring this to everybody.
Thank you, Robert. Great to join you today.
Thanks. Until next time, the power to heal is yours.